Hi everyone, this is Mona Momtazian and you're listening to the Mindful Living, Consciously Creating Your Life and Work. This is the first episode of this podcast and I'm really looking forward to creating some more episodes in this series. So welcome again. I'm a leadership coach and consultant, and on this podcast, my aim is to share tips and techniques on leading the self as well as leading others. So more specifically, I'm hoping to cover topics on mindfulness, leadership, communication, people dynamics, neuroscience, positive psychology, Myers-Briggs, human synergistics, human dynamics, and much more. But the overall concept will be creating a mindful life and really consciously looking at what you're doing and how your interactions are in your life and work. So if you've done any type of work in mindfulness, you'll know that mindfulness is defined generally as being in the present moment, and being in the present moment as well as observing our thoughts, feelings, physical sensations in our body, and being non-judgmental about what we notice about our thoughts, emotions, or physical sensations. So it's really about cultivating compassion. And through this, my approach has been to then transfer this into other areas of our life. So not only can we be mindful when we're at a retreat, in a yoga class, or in a meditation studio, but we can also apply these concepts that we learned and transfer them into our work life and into other areas of our life. So when it comes to interpersonal relationships, when it comes to our leadership style, friendships, family, and all relationships basically, as well as the relationship we have with ourselves. So that's where leading the self comes in. And for those of you who are leaders, this Mindful Living podcast will hopefully give you the tools and techniques on leading others as well as leading the self. So let's explore one technique that many people find useful. And this, if you haven't done much mindfulness practice or relaxation techniques, this one will be a really easy one to implement. It's the progressive relaxation technique. You could do this at home, you could do this at work, sitting at your desk, you could take a break during lunch or after work. It's really something that you could incorporate and integrate into every aspect of your life, and it's up to you to decide how it works best. So what time of the day it works best, how often, and if it even works for you. And by work, I mean that it allows you to become more mindful and more observant of the thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations in your body. So it's not just a tool to relax, but it's also a tool to help us become more mindful and more detached so that we're in a position to be able to respond rather than react. And we'll get into some of those concepts more in later podcasts. But for the purpose of this podcast, let's get into this progressive relaxation technique. So for this technique, you can either sit down up in an upright position or lay down on the floor. And I'll get you to close your eyes. And if you don't want to close your eyes, then hold a soft gaze towards the floor. Starting with your shoulders, if you can tense your shoulders up. And when I get you to tense your body, be aware of cramping. So I don't want you to cramp any part of your body. So you may have to release some of the hold. So simply tense as much as you can without cramping. So we're tensing the shoulder muscles. And now relax. And move down to your arms, your upper arms, and just tense your biceps. Hold that Again, observing what's going on in your mind. Are you able to be present? Are you able to notice the sensations in your body? And now relax. And moving down to your hands, clenching them in a fist, in a really tight fist. So as tight as possible, and just hold that. Again, notice if there's any part of your body that feels any particular sensations and what emotions are coming up for you, if any, or what thoughts are coming up. No need to judge them. So even if you are getting bored or tired or irritated, simply observe that and notice it. And relax your hands. And I'll get you to move to your gut, your tummy area, and tense that up. So hold that tension and notice how it feels. How does it feel on your gut? How does it feel on your lower back or your back? And now release and relax. And now we'll move to your thighs, so tightening up the thighs. And again with the legs, just be extra careful not to cramp them. So tensing up the thighs. And see if you can tense up the thighs without tensing up any other part of your leg. And now release. As we're doing this progressive relaxation, be mindful of your breath. So are you holding your breath in, or are you able to breathe freely? Now moving on to your calves. Tense your calves and your calf muscles. Hold them. See if you can tense them without tensing up other areas of your leg. And release. And now moving down to your feet. Tense the feet. Keep them tense. And just be aware of what kind of thoughts are going through your mind now that we're at the feet. Are you wishing we'd taken longer to go through the body? Or perhaps you're thinking, I can't wait for this to be over. Whatever it is you are thinking, or you might even be thinking about what you need to cook for dinner or plans that you're making this week. And release the tension. Just shift your body around very slowly and notice what sensations are in your body. Does anything feel different to when you started? Are the thoughts in your mind different to when we started this exercise? How is your breathing? Have you noticed a difference in your breathing? Take a deep breath in and release. And take your time. You can lay there or sit there for a little bit longer. Or you can slowly open your eyes and come back into the room. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope you'll join me for future podcasts on mindful living.